It's your boy D Rich back at it once again, and as you can see, I'm in my secret location. What I need you to do right now is hit that like button right now. Subscribe right now because you know the video is going to be fire. And if you don't follow me on all social media platforms at D Rich TV, I don't know what you're doing. What I'm here to talk about today is how to become not a 1, not a 2, not a 3, not a 4, but a 5-star prospect when it comes to Rivals, ESPN, 24/7, or any other recruiting website that you guys go to look at who the top recruits are. Now, mind you, it's only 30 5-star prospects every year on these recruiting websites. So the chances of you becoming a 5-star prospect, if you're watching this, are slim. But I'm going to tell you the steps that you need to take if you want to become a 5-star prospect. If you want to be a 5-star prospect, you must dominate high school competition, especially if you go to high school locally. If you do not go to a national school, you must be head and shoulders above the competition when somebody comes to see you play. If you play football and you play running back, quarterback, wide receiver, safety, or corner, I expect pure domination when I come to see you play if you want to be considered a 5-star prospect. If you play basketball and I come to see you play, you have to be dominating, especially if you play locally. If you go to like a national school like IMG, of course you're not going to average 40 points a game. But if you play locally, you must dominate if you want to become a 5-star prospect. You must be able to handle pressure, because if you are a 5-star prospect, and I know you guys tired of me saying that, people are going to come see you play and they're going to criticize every move that you make. And if you do not dominate, word is going to get around that, oh, he's not all that, he all hype. People just come just to nitpick at every little thing you do when you're a 5-star prospect. Because people go to these recruiting websites who usually don't even go to watch people play, but when they see a 5-star prospect and they around their city playing, they drive in 45 minutes to an hour, maybe even 2 hours just to come see you play. But you have to be able to handle that type of pressure if you want to become a 5-star prospect, because people are going to be petty and nitpick at you. If you walking wrong and you a 5-star prospect, somebody gonna say something about you. So you gotta be able to handle everything that comes along with a 5-star prospect, or you might just go crazy and might not be able to handle it. But if you're a 5-star prospect, you gotta be able to handle that. You must go to these national camps, play against national competition, and play well. Because it's one thing to dominate in your city locally, but it's another thing when you go to these camps and you dominate those. Because you can't just dominate your city, you gotta dominate nationally. In football, you gotta go to the Rivals camp, you gotta go to the US Army Combine, and you gotta do your thing there. In basketball, you gotta go to these Nike camps, you gotta go to camps like Pangos, CP3, and you gotta dominate there. And you gotta show that you are head and shoulders above anybody else. It used to be the ABCD camp. I don't know what the hell happens to the ABCD camp in basketball, but that's where legends were made. If you want to be a 5-star prospect and you watching this video and you in elementary school or middle school, it starts now. Start putting the work in now. Put the Call of Duty down, put the Fortnite down for a second, and put some work in. Because that's the only thing that you can control in this world, is whether you put the work in or not. You can't control if you grow to be 6'8", unless you take like hormones or something like that, but who got money for that, the HGH stuff. What you can control is whether you put the work in or not. That's the one thing that you can control. It may be some 5-star prospects out there who don't put the work in, and those are the guys who shizzle out. Those are the guys who 5 years from now, you're gonna wonder why they did not make it to the league. And it's because they were naturally gifted and they didn't put the work in. Everybody knows somebody who is a good player, but they don't put the work in. And you wonder, like, how are they that good? Life is not fair, guys. There's some people who are naturally talented, naturally, but they don't put the work in because they're so naturally gifted. I know hella people that were like that, and eventually they chiseled out. If you want to be a 5-star prospect, you must be a student of the game. You must study the people who have came before you and laid the footprint. You got to go back on YouTube and look at their highlights from high school, college, and definitely their pro highlights. You got to be a student of the game because you can find anything that you want to watch on the internet. We all use the internet for Instagram, Twitter, and things like that, and Snapchat. But if you want to be a 5-star prospect, you must use it to become a student of the game. I know a lot of you guys may not have a solid foundation at home and somebody to teach you what you need to do. D-Rich is telling you, you must be a student of the game. If you want to be a 5-star prospect, you must have swagger. All right, you got to have some swag if you want to be a 5-star prospect. When a 5-star prospect walks into the room, for some reason, I just know it's a 5-star prospect. I just look at it, oh, that's a 5-star. You got to have confidence, fellas. You have to believe in yourself or nobody else is going to believe in you at all. And if you want to be a 5-star prospect, swagger is key. You got to carry yourself like one. I don't know how to explain it much more than that. So those were my key ways on how to become a 5-star prospect. But please remember, it all starts in the classroom. Do not be a student of the game and not a student in the classroom, because at the end of the day, the one thing that can take you a long way is what you learn. And if you can go to college and get a free education, that's all that matters. I know people who were 3 stars that were better than 5. I know 4 stars who were better than 5. I know 2 stars who were better than 5 stars. And I know some 5 stars who actually lived up to the hype and went on to do big things. But this is D-Rich TV. Hit the like button, subscribe, because you know the video is fire. And if it's anything else that you want me to talk about, please leave a comment. And I'll see if I can make it happen. D-Rich TV.